Looking for a good read while soaking up the rays this summer? The From a Ways might be the perfect beach book. The novel tells a story of two young women who moved to Maine looking for family but find more love, heartbreak, and friendship than they ever imagined one little fishing town could hold. Joining me now is author C.J. Hauser. Nice to have you here, C.J.
Thank you so much for having me.
Before we dig into the book, this is your first novel. You wrote short stories. How did you make the transition?
So I've been writing short stories for a long time, but this idea just felt really different. And I really wanted to, when I started writing about this town in Maine that I'd invented, I wanted it to be the sort of place that a reader could really immerse themselves in and feel like they could visit it. So it just sort of became a larger project by virtue of that.
Got it. So a longer short story, right? And you kept going with it.
It just kept growing.
So the book follows Quinn and Leah. Those are the two main characters. Describe them for us.
So they're both 24. They're both young women who have just moved to the town. They're the From-aways from the title, which means that they're not from this town. And Quinn is sort of a tough girl. She's just lost her mother, and she's gone out there to confront her father, who left when she was a child. He's a folk singer. He lives in this town. And she's really tough on the outside, but she's sort of an emotional mush when you get down to it. And then Leah is this New York journalist who has just gotten married, and she has gone to this town because her husband is from there, and she has all these romantic ideas about Maine and New England and how her life will be when she gets there. And so they both sort of wind up working at the local paper when they get to town.
Really? Okay. And can you tell us some of their other adventures without giving the book away?
Yeah, sure. So a big part of what happens in the book is to do with the paper. There's sort of a small town scandal that has to do with a new large house that's being built in town, and they have to cover the story and try to remain objective. But as the story sort of unfolds, it puts pressure on both of their romantic plot lines, and so there's conflict there without saying too much.
All right. Are Quinn and Leah based on anybody in your life or just fictional characters?
So they're both fictional characters, and the town is set in Maine, but I think that it is in many ways sort of, the book is in many ways a love letter to my hometown, because I feel like I've spent so much time trying to explain to people in my life what it was like growing up in this really small, close-knit community.
Well, we should mention you are from Connecticut.
Yes, I grew up in Reading, Connecticut, a place I really, really love to this day.
And what do you want readers to take away from the book?
I think that both women in the book are really looking for a sense of home and family, and I think that I hope readers will see the way that they sort of make their own families. I mean, they have their biological families, but they also have the people they fall in love with and their friends and the community that they build in this town, and that becomes their family in a way too. They make their own homes.
Sure, and the book is newly published. What are the reviews so far?
So far, there's been a really wonderful reception, which has been really exciting, but you know, the professional reviews are all wonderful, but I think my favorite ones have come from sort of my high school English teacher, my field hockey coach.
Oh, they must be so proud of you though, right?
It's been really, really wonderful going back home.
That's great. Well, where can we find the book and read it?
So it is available in stores and online, but particularly I should shout out Books on the Common in Ridgefield and R.J. Julia in Madison, who have both been nice enough to sort of have me into the store recently.
Very good. Well, we'll look for it. The book is called again, The From-aways.
Yes.
All right. And CJ, thank you so much for being here. Hope all your friends in Connecticut get a chance to watch Style.
Thank you so much for having me.